Right, what's up and welcome guys, Skate is old and new. Today what we're going to be doing is going over 25 tricks that require absolutely no pop. So if you don't know how to ollie, if you don't know any tricks, there'll still be a few on this list that you can learn pretty fast and a bunch more that you can put in your trick list to learn as the days go by. So with that being said, we're going to start off with the first and most easy one of the entire list, the backside revert. Let's get straight into it. So the backside revert, essentially with this one, we're going to relinquish a bit of weight off the front foot, so it goes like this, and we're going to use our back foot to slide the wheels along the floor. That's just a normal little like moving forward revert. The wheel sliding along the floor is what we want. On the back wheels, it can be all four wheels, but the back wheels predominantly. So essentially what we're going to do now is we're going to use our body weight to throw the board this way. So start off by going 90 degrees, starting off with a few at 90 degrees, and then you should eventually be able to get it all the way around, do it in two like you just saw me do. And then eventually you should end up with one where you get the board all the way around. Another little tip is it's really easy and fakey. Fakey means riding backwards because when you do it, you end up riding forwards again. Another thing for that is just turn your body first and bring the hips after. On to trick number 2. Trick number 2 is the boneless, another super low risk, easy to grasp trick that you can do incrementally. Basically, you're gonna put weight on the back foot, use your right hand, take this foot off, put your right hand on the board, take your leg up, see how my knee is bent here, straighten that out, and then get back onto the board. So start off by doing it like this. Dropping the board and stepping up. That is the most incremental way to break down the trick. Make sure you rewatch that a few times just to grasp it. After a while, we're gonna put it all in one motion, just like this. But doing it slowly means you can learn the steps nicely and then add the speed as you get more experienced. On to trick number 3. Number 3, the no comply bubble shove, another real simple low risk one. We're gonna take our front foot off, use our back foot to pull the board towards us, just like this. Once you've got your foot underneath the board, by the way, new escapers and boards, that's my brand, releasing tomorrow. Actually, by the time this video is out, they're already out, so check the description if you wanna buy one and support the channel. Anyway, so once you're here, you're gonna lift the foot over, so you do that, and then just get the other foot back on the board. Again, those are the incremental steps. Once you get a bit of practice, we can speed it up a little bit by front foot off, foot back, over, step on. And then the one that we really want to be striving for, the all-in-one motion, is the one on screen right now with the slow-mo. One of my personal favorites, that one, and super easy for beginners. On to trick number 4. All right, trick number 4 is the primo, one that most people are very scared of, and for the good reason. If you're doing a flip trick and you accidentally land primo, it can be a problem. When we're doing it on purpose, it's not really that bad at all. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the board in front of you like this, graphic facing away from you, grip tape facing towards you. Now, we're gonna put one foot on the wheel like this, so between the wheel and the board here, we're gonna put one foot on, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the other foot. Once we're here, it's just a little shift with the heels forward, just like this. Bend your knees when you land just to make sure you have a bit of extra balance. And it's really as simple as that. A little bit scary, but in skateboarding, you're gonna have to conquer fears regularly. This is a great little entry-level fear just to get you started, get the ball rolling. So get this one down as soon as possible, and you'll be ready for some more difficult tricks later down on this list. On to number 5. Number 5, we've got the mongo heeley. This is, again, another one of my personal favorites, and you either love it or hate it. This is a very, what's the word? A very controversial trick, some might say. So essentially, we're gonna take one foot off, use our back foot, and it's very important when we have the back foot, because the heel is on the tail, and the rest of your foot is on this like top 30% of the board. So you're gonna put a bit of weight on your heels so the wheels lift up, and then use your body weight to spin you round. If you wanna break it down, do it like this, with a few hops of the foot, and then step back on. But the momentum of riding forward really helps get you around. Trust me, it's like night and day. So ideally, you would take the foot off, do the spin, and you can slide it along the floor for a bit of extra safety. Practice, 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 and take this one slowly because I don't want you falling off like that. Doesn't happen often, but just be careful and be wary, okay? On to the next one. Number 6, the old school flip. The first flip trick that you'll probably ever do, to be honest, and a lot of people won't even know this exists. So It's good to learn it because not only does it count in skates, you can use it against your friends when you play against them, it's also quite uncommonly learned in 2024, 2025, whenever you're watching this video. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one foot like this, our front foot, this is our front foot by the way, we're gonna have that on the side. So kind of parallel to the board, and then our back foot is going to be like this. You see this part of your shoe here where you get like the dip in on the side? We're going to put that on the side of the board, so here. So our toes can almost go underneath and our heel is barely on the top. So then what you're going to do is you're going to use that to bring the board over. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to the hooking the foot underneath and flipping it, but trust me, this one's really good and it's not too bad, but I would recommend trying it maybe, right? So for safety, say that this is some grass here. Say that these stinging nettles are some nice safe grass. We're gonna put our board here and we're gonna do the hook under and then roll the board over into the grass so that if we do land it a bit dodgy, like say if you accidentally land like this, because obviously we want to land like this. If you do accidentally land like this, if you're in the grass, the board's not gonna shoot out from underneath you and you should be a lot more safe. But practice it stationary at first, and then add some speed once you get the trick nicely. But it should end up look something like this. On to the next one. Trick number 7. Another nice easy one that I learned super early in my skateboard career, and that is the caspar. What we're gonna do for this one, pull the board so it's just like this. Then we're gonna put our back foot over the tail, our front foot goes just underneath, maybe not quite where the truck is, maybe just about between there and the halfway point of the board, so about there. And then what you're gonna do is, for a proper caspar, you have to lift up the board like this, as if you were doing like a wheelie like that. But because we're beginners, we're gonna practice it the easiest way first. So this foot here, you push forward to flip the board back over like that, and then all you do with this foot is just lift it up when you jump. Again, gonna take some practice, as all of these will, but it should look just like this. A nice, simple, low-risk one. Next, we've got a slightly more advanced one, but still definitely possible for beginners, but it's gonna take a lot more practice than a few of the other ones, so if you find this one difficult, skip ahead to some of the later tricks in the list, because yeah, like I said, don't get bogged down on tricks. If you find one that is difficult for you, move on to the next one. Everybody finds different things difficult at the end of the day. Someone might find this easy and find one of the easier ones hard, and vice versa. It's just how skateboarding works. But yeah, the 360 revert. So obviously we know the normal revert from the first trick in the list is like this. Now a 360 version is obviously just completing the rotation. Again, I can't stress enough. It looks easier than it is. So break it down with 2 180s at first. Go like this, 180 revert, and then the fakie revert straight afterwards. Do that loads of times, slowly decreasing the gap in the middle of the 2 reverts until you end up with one like this. On to the next trick. Now going from that one into another one of the easiest possible ones on the list. So if you couldn't do the 360 revert, this one you'll definitely be able to do. This is the body varial. Very, very simple. A body varial essentially is just switching your stance while riding. If you skate regular, like this, a body varial is switching to goofy. If you skate goofy, like this, a body varial is switching to regular. A good way to practice this one, if you want to have a few dummy goes, is line yourself up with the board, put your feet about bolts width apart, and then just go, bend your knees when you land, and try and land with them in the same place you took off from. Like that, then start stationary, and that is your body varial. Right, now we're going to combine 2 tricks you've already learnt together, the body varial and the revert. This one is, it's a medium difficulty trick. It might seem a bit easier than it is, but it's definitely a medium difficulty trick. So what we're going to do, start in our regular stance, and then we're going to body varial, and then immediately do the revert. Again, like I say with all these tricks, if it's 2 different motions or 2 or 3 different steps, do them separately with like a second or 2 gap in between, and then as we get better at the steps, you decrease the time in between the tricks. Body varial, revert. And then eventually we've got body varial, revert. On to the next one. Right, now we're gonna upgrade one of our previous tricks, the boneless. Now, funny enough, the regular boneless, where you just go straight like I showed you earlier in the list, is actually a little bit harder than the boneless 180. I know, it sounds weird, right? But trust me, I'll explain to you why. The regular boneless is difficult because when you kick the leg out, then jumping back onto it straight is a bit awkward for some people. Like, doing that can be a bit awkward. But the 180 version, because your leg is already stretched out like this, it's easier to go and finish the rotation than it is to awkwardly bring it back like this, you know? You see how my leg is straight? I had to bend it back to get it straight again. But if I go 180, I just continue it. It's actually a lot easier for most people, myself included. So to break it down for you, foot on the tail, other foot off, right hand on the board, extend the leg and then finish the rotation. And all at once, it'll look like this. On to the next one. Say what you want, I like sparkling water. Tastes like electricity.
It tastes like TV static.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to support the channel, our new escapism graphics are out now. I'll put the link in the description, but yeah, if you want to support us, grab one of our new boards. It's a Land Rover inspired design with Webb's Trophy Adventure Travels on the Land Rover and a whole skate park stacked up on the back. And they're cheap too. But if you are from the US, message me on Instagram to order one, because otherwise the delivery will be super expensive and I want to sort you out if you are. Anyway, back to the tricks. Next, we've got another nice low-key, low-risk trick that you never see anyone do. And most people would say it isn't a trick, but in my eyes, anything where you flip the board and land back on it, it's a trick. If you put the feet on the floor, it's generally freestyle, but freestyle skateboarding is still skateboarding, so shut your whore mouths. Let's get back into this. So, the step over flip. Babes, come over here. So, board in front of you like this. My front foot, right here, as we walk towards the board, is gonna go under it, like that, with just the toes underneath the board. So you can do this. Then what we're gonna do, take our other foot, step over the board, and then this foot here, we're gonna bring it towards our other leg, lifting it up through the board. So like, and also turning it as well. So we're doing like a body varial when we do it. Body varial, we know that from earlier in the list. So foot under, step over, flip the board, and body varial. Now, we've just got to land both feet on. Simple. So board like this, all in one motion, foot under, step over. There we go, the step over flip. Next, we've got the pogo. Now, if you've already got a chipped skateboard, I wouldn't recommend doing this one because it will chip the board further, but if your skateboard is still in decent condition, you'll be fine doing this, especially if you're doing it on wood, but concrete you'll also be fine, but if the board's chipped, don't do it yet, just wait till you get a new one. Anyway, put your board like this, put one foot on the truck, hand on the other truck. Then we're gonna use it like a pogo stick. Just practice a couple hops at once, like boom, boom, and then step back down, boom, boom, and then step back down, boom, boom, and then step back down. To get out of it, we're gonna use our hand and this hand here to throw the board down like that. This one is a bit sketchier than a few of the other ones in the list, so again, if you're feeling a bit scared about it, I would recommend breaking the fib because we've got to do that a lot in skateboarding, but if you're not ready, come back later. Foot on the truck, hand on the other truck, a couple of bounces, and then back on the board. On to the next trick. Next, we've got another trick that bounces right off that one, except this time we're not going to do the actual bounce, which by the way, if you want a board that will make this trick easier, we've just released these in a fish shape as well, which I'm not going to plug too much because I don't want to harass you with promotion of my new board, but it is amazing. Anyway, saran wrap. So, same position, back foot on the truck, right hand on this truck. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this leg here and we're going to wrap it round through our arm. So like this, like that. Again, this one will probably be quite difficult for a lot of people, but it's still a trick with no pop at the end of the day, so it makes it into the list. So, hand on the truck, wrap around, and then back on. Put it in slow motion to really break it down, but because of the nature of the trick, you can't really slow this one down too much. Just try it at your own risk. Let's move on to the next one. Now we're moving on to a few slightly more difficult tricks that you're gonna wanna set yourself goals for. Like the first 15 or so, they're really tricks that you can learn pretty quickly, but these ones, I want you to pick a few of them that you see in the list that you like. Watch the video all the way through, write down a few of them in your notes app on your phone or in a notebook, and be like, right, in 6 months I wanna have this one, and this one, and just set yourself a goal and work towards them slowly, because a few of these can be quite difficult, especially for beginners, but if you're an intermediate, you should still be able to learn these fairly quickly. The primo flip. One of the first flip tricks I learned, but for a lot of people can be quite difficult. And trust me, for me included, like to get it consistent was difficult. It took me a couple of years to get to that point anyway. So feet on the wheels, just like this. And then this time, we're gonna take our back foot and put it right in between the tip of the tail and where we put it on with the wheel. Then what you do is you kick down, like you use this leg and kick down and behind you. So like scooping, like that. Don't do it how I just did it. If you're gonna try it all the way, otherwise you might hurt yourself. So basically, if this is my front foot, we're gonna have our back foot there, and we're gonna like that. And what that does is it causes the board to go and flip and do a 180. So remember, this is the trick that you wanna set a goal on, unless of course you're already an experienced skater, and then you might be able to learn it quite quickly. So back foot on the tail, just like that. On to the next one. Next, we've got the 1 foot nollie shove. Another great one to have for games of skate because barely anyone will bother learning stuff like this. But for me, I like to learn as many tricks as humanly possible because at the end of the day, learning tricks is what I find fun about skateboarding. So this one is a great one, especially if you like winning in skate. Which me, I'm extremely competitive, so I've got to have as many random ones as possible, you know? Anyway, so the 1 foot nollie shove. Exactly what it says on the tin. We're gonna have our front foot, similar to with the mongo heeley, but on the front instead of the back. So our toes are gonna be on the nose, and our heel is gonna be on that, like top 30% of the board there. So for this one, you're gonna ride like this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our foot. I'm gonna move this one out of the way to show you, and we're gonna like that. But you can practice it with 1 foot to get the gist, just like that. Then do it super slowly. Take that foot off and hang it over there. Get a sketchy one first, and slowly you should get a nice clean one like the slow-mo you see on screen right now, onto trick number 17. All right, next we've got the old school varial. Very similar to the old school flip, but for this one, instead of pulling the board this way like we did with the old school flip, like that, we're gonna pull this back end of the board over like this. Again, fairly difficult, this one. Not ultra difficult, but if you can grasp the old school flip, you should be able to do this one fairly all right as well. And to be fair, the old school flip is quite beginner friendly, so this one, I would say is beginner to intermediate if you ask me. So what you're gonna do, so you're gonna have that front foot in the same position, back foot just a bit lower down on the board, and you're gonna bring it with you and go forward, like that. You should get ones like that at first where you like barely get your feet on the board. Just like that, you have the old school varial. One thing I will say is it's 10 times easier off of concrete because for some reason when I bend down with tricks like this, like the wood kind of sucks away your momentum of the board, but that's just me. Try it on concrete, it's way easier. Slow-mo's on screen to see how it's done. Okay, next we've got another really easy one that seems to have snuck its way onto the later part of the list, but I must have forgot to put it in earlier, but that's the caveman. Super simple, super easy one, but I'm gonna show you a little bit more of an advanced version, all right? Because we are at the further point of the video. So a caveman, ideally, is just holding the board out like this, thumb on the grip tape, 4 fingers on the graphic, and just jumping and landing onto it, like that. But when you're a bit more advanced, you can take it off of things. So for example, you could take it off here, onto the flat. So doing it over a ramp or off a stair set or something is a good way to level up the caveman, just like this. On to the next one. All right, caveman finger flip is up next. So essentially what we just did there, same way we're gonna hold the board, right? Thumb on the grip, 4 fingers on the graphic. Then we're gonna use our wrist to spin the board just like that. So real easy to practice, no risk whatsoever pretty much. Just hold the board in front of you and just go and try and get it to spin the perfect 1 flip. Just like that. See? Nice. Once you know how to do that, it's really not that much more different just to stop it with one foot. That's step number one. Throw it down, stop it. Throw it down, stop it. And then step number two is getting the other foot on there as well. So start off like this, throw it down, stop it, step on. Throw it down, stop it, step on. Then when you've mastered that, we're going to do it all at once. And that is the caveman fingerflip. Next, we've got the boneless hard flip, another variation of the boneless that we've done earlier in the video. This one is actually really fun, and I really like this one because it looks a lot harder than it is. So when you do it at skate parks and stuff, people are always like, oh, what's that? Boneless hard flip. So essentially, same thing as the other boneless. Back foot, tail down. Left foot, off the board. Right hand on the board. This is where it changes. So instead of going like, and just doing the boneless, we're gonna throw it. So we're gonna aim to throw the board like this. So you like use your fingers to pull the board towards you, and at the same time throw it over. Like, practice it. Watch this in slow-mo. But this is a real natural feeling motion, so nice and easy. Then once you've done that, we're going to add it all together at once. The boneless hard flip. On to the next one. All right, next we've got the souffle. Another very controversial trick. This one, you may know the fakie big spin, which is essentially a 180 shove it, a fakie 180 shove it revert, right? So you go like this, you do the shove it and then you do the revert. But a souffle, slightly different. You do the revert and then you do the shove it, right? So you essentially turn the board first and then go like this, but you have to keep it all in one motion for it to be the souffle. So we're going to lift up our front wheels and then do the shove it. Ideally, don't put the front wheels down, just go boom, boom. Going to take some practice because, again, you've got to have the balance of being able to hold the revert in mani for a second. You can do it quick, obviously, but to do the revert, hold the wheels up and then do it looks a lot more stylish and a lot more pronounced, so you can argue this is not a fakie big spin. And when you've got that, it's going to go just like that. Next, caspar shove it. So we're going to go back to our caspar from earlier. Back foot on top of the tail, front foot underneath the board, and we're going to use this foot. We're going to slide it back, and at the same time lift the front foot up. So you go and lift this leg up, and it looks like stop it with one foot, just like that at first to get used to it. See, I love these tricks for beginners because they're so low risk. You can really just go like, and not have to worry about committing to it until you know you can do the movement of the board, you know what I mean? Whereas with a kickflip, you kind of have to try and get your feet on it, and it's risky, right? That's why I don't teach tricks like that to beginners very often. So back foot on the tail, front foot on here, and when you're ready to land it, you're just going to jump forward slightly and lift this leg up to get back on the board. That was a shit one. Let me spice it up for you. Bend your knees when you land, and that is your caspar shove it. Next, we've got a funny one. This is the Bert slide. This is how you know you're running out of no pop tricks. But to be honest, I'm sure we could get another 25 list out of this. So if you want to see it, let me know. But the Bert slide, a very old school trick. We're gonna go towards a ramp, put our hands on the floor, and just slide all the way around like that. There's not much that I can teach you to break this one down, apart from just literally put your hands on the floor, stop yourself like here, bring the board all the way around like there, and then go to come out fakie. It's actually a lot harder if you try and do it slowly, like I just tried to show you, because that looks very silly. But essentially, if you want to do it properly, you go the Bert slide. I'm not very good at this one. On to the next trick. So, 2 tricks left. This one, the kangaroo flip. If you get caught trying this one at the park, you might look a little silly, but again, technically, it's a trick that you can do in skate, because 1, no feet touch the ground, and 2, it's a real trick. So, but it can be a little bit difficult. So, you're gonna have your feet like this, right? All 4 wheels facing you. We're gonna put our back feet on our 2 back wheels here, but first you wanna grab these ones for stability. So have your feet like this, and then we're gonna lean back. Once we're here, you pull the board like that and jump back onto it. Can't really break it down because again, the nature of the trick is similar to a pogo, but if you watch the slow-mos, you'll get the gist, and it's one of them tricks where you just have to have faith that you can do it. If you hesitate, you could get hurt. So if you want to try this, you better want to try this. Don't half-ass it, you know? So hands on the wheels like this, then we're gonna lean back. And if you lean back, make sure that you're leaning back straight, right? Don't try it if you're like going off to the side. Go this, all your weight back, and then, cool. I forget how scary this one is. So, all the way back, just like that. Bit sketchy, but definitely doable, and almost always gonna get someone on a letter and skate. Next and finally, we've got the shove it rewind. Again, trick with no pop, but I didn't want to put loads of shove-its on this list because obviously I could have put like 20 different shove-its because there's so many of them, but I wanted to give you a more comprehensive list of different stuff to try. So, shove it rewind. Essentially, your normal shove it looks like this, but to rewind it, we're going to land with one foot on the nose and bring it back the way it came. Say this is our landed shove it, we're going to aim to get our front foot first on the nose and finish this and get the rotation back the same way, like just like that. So the shovey rewind in its final form is going to look like this. That was a sketchy one. I'll put the clean one slow-mo on screen right now. That's my 25 tricks that require no pop. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, and if you've got any ideas of other ones you want to see, drop it in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one.